Welcome to today's presentation. Cyber attacks happen every 39 seconds, which is astonishing when you think about how frequently they occur. It really highlights how common and pervasive cyber threats are in today's digital world. Individuals and small businesses are often the primary targets, and that's because they might not have the same level of security measures as larger organizations. This makes them more vulnerable to attacks. But here's the good news. Most of these attacks are preventable. With just a bit of awareness and some simple precautions, we can significantly reduce the risk. That's why understanding why cybersecurity matters is so crucial, not just for protecting data, but for safeguarding our peace of mind and financial security as well. Throughout this presentation, I'll show you how awareness and proactive steps can make a real difference in defending against these threats. Let's talk about why many passwords are actually quite weak. First, common passwords are easily guessed. Things like password or 123,456 are often the first choices, making them very vulnerable. Next, short passwords are cracked instantly by hackers using brute force methods or automated tools. That's why length really matters. On the other hand, passphrases, longer combinations of words, are much safer. They're harder for computers to crack, but they're also easier for us to remember than complex strings of random characters. Here's a fun fact to keep in mind. Passwords are often weak because people tend to choose simple, predictable ones. That's why it's so important to use stronger, more memorable options like passphrases. This all ties back to our overall theme of improving security through better password habits. Let's talk about fake emails. They often look completely legitimate, making it hard to tell what's real and what's not. Attackers are pretty clever. They impersonate banks, companies, even people you know, to trick you into thinking these emails are trustworthy. And here's the scary part. Just one click on a malicious link or attachment can give hackers access to your accounts or personal information. Now, here's an important fact to remember. Phishing is actually the #1 threat out there today. It's the most common way cybercriminals try to steal information or cause damage. So, staying aware and cautious about these fake emails is crucial in protecting ourselves. Throughout this presentation, we'll see how these tactics work and what you can do to stay safe. Let's talk about the risks of using open networks, such as public Wi-Fi. Attackers are always monitoring these networks, looking for opportunities to intercept data. When you log into websites or apps, your login credentials can be captured if the connection isn't secure. This means that sensitive information like passwords or personal details could be at risk. Another common threat is session hijacking, where attackers take over your active session without your knowledge. They can do this if they manage to steal your session cookies or intercept your session data. And here's a fun but important fact. Public Wi-Fi is actually quite unsafe. Many people underestimate the dangers, but these networks are often unsecured and easy targets for cybercriminals. So, always be cautious when connecting to free or open networks, especially when handling sensitive information. This ties back to our overall theme of understanding and protecting yourself from cyber threats wherever you are. Let's talk about some common issues with mobile apps. Many apps request permissions that aren't really necessary for their core functions. For example, a simple game might ask for access to your contacts or location, which can be a red flag. It's important to be cautious and question whether these permissions are truly needed. Another concern is location tracking. Many apps run background location services, meaning they continue to monitor your whereabouts even when you're not actively using the app. This can lead to privacy invasions and unnecessary data collection. Microphone and camera misuse is also quite common. Some apps may access these features without clear justification, raising privacy concerns. Always review app permissions and be wary of apps requesting access to your microphone or camera without a valid reason. Here's a fun fact. Mobile devices can leak data more easily than we might realize. They can unintentionally share sensitive information through various channels, which emphasizes the importance of managing permissions and being aware of how your data is being used. Connecting all these points, the overall theme here is the importance of safeguarding your privacy. Being vigilant about app permissions and understanding how your device handles data is key to maintaining control over your personal information. Let's talk about a common misconception, that antivirus software alone can keep us safe. The truth is, antivirus does a great job at blocking many threats, but it does not stop scams, especially those that rely on social engineering. Scammers are clever. They often manipulate human behavior rather than just relying on malicious code. This means that even the best antivirus can't protect us from being tricked through deception. That's why user awareness is absolutely critical. Being able to recognize suspicious emails, messages, or calls can prevent a scam from succeeding in the first place. It's about knowing what to look for and staying cautious, even if your antivirus is up to date. And here's a fun fact to remember. Antivirus alone is not enough. It's just one piece of the puzzle. Our best defense combines technology with a vigilant, informed user mindset. This is a key part of the overall theme. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility between technology and human awareness. Now, let's talk about how hospitals and schools are becoming common targets for cybercriminals. These institutions often hold sensitive data, and attackers know that they can be pressured into paying to regain access. It's important to understand that even if a victim pays the ransom, there's still a risk that their data might be leaked or exposed afterward. This shows how ruthless and persistent these criminals can be. And here's an interesting fact to consider. Ransomware isn't just a random attack anymore. It's actually a business. These groups operate like companies, with their own infrastructure, marketing, and even customer support. This highlights how organized and professionalized cybercrime has become, reinforcing the need for us to stay vigilant and prepared against these threats. Let's talk about backups and why they are so crucial in defending against ransomware attacks. First off, backups truly defeat ransomware because having a recent, clean copy of your data means you can restore everything without paying the ransom. It's like having a safety net in case things go wrong. Next, offline copies are especially important because they prevent total loss. If your backups are connected to the network, ransomware can sometimes encrypt or delete them too. But if you keep offline copies, your data stays safe and untouched, ready for a clean restore. Now, I want to emphasize that relying on just cloud-only backups isn't enough. Cloud storage is great, but it can still be vulnerable if not properly secured, or if an attack targets cloud providers. Combining offline, local, and cloud backups creates a layered defense, making it much harder for ransomware to succeed. And here's a fun fact to keep in mind. Backups are your lifeline. They're the safety net that can save your organization from disaster. Remember, having reliable backups isn't just good practice, it's essential to your cybersecurity strategy. Let's talk about how attackers often harvest public information to gain access to your accounts. They look through social media profiles, public posts, and other online footprints to find clues they can use. This is why it's so important to be cautious about what you share publicly. Next, security questions are often based on personal details like your mother's maiden name or the name of your first pet. Unfortunately, these answers are often easily guessed or found online, which makes them a weak point in your security. Oversharing on social media also plays a big role in increasing your risk. The more personal information you share, the more opportunities attackers have to piece together details they can exploit. And here's a fun fact. Social media really fuels attacks. The more you share, the more attackers can gather to craft convincing phishing attempts or access your accounts. So, as we wrap this up, remember that protecting your information online is crucial. Be mindful of what you share publicly, and never underestimate how much attackers can learn from even seemingly harmless details. Let's talk about something really important. Hackers are always on the lookout for unpatched flaws in software. When vulnerabilities are left unaddressed, it's like leaving the front door open for cybercriminals. The longer you delay applying updates, the greater the risk of being targeted. That's why automatic updates are such a game changer. They help ensure your software stays secure without you having to remember to do it manually. And here's a fun fact. Updates often fix known security holes. It's like patching a leak in a boat before it sinks. Keeping your systems updated is one of the most effective ways to protect yourself against cyber threats. Remember, staying current with updates isn't just about new features. It's about fixing the vulnerabilities hackers love to exploit. So, always prioritize timely updates to keep your digital environment safe. Passwords alone are really not enough to keep our accounts safe these days. They can often be guessed or stolen, leaving us vulnerable. That's where two-factor authentication, or 2FA, comes into play. It adds an extra layer of security by requiring a second form of verification beyond just the password. And the good news is, 2FA blocks most account takeovers, making it much harder for hackers to get in. Now, while 2FA can involve different methods, using SMS texts is better than having no protection at all. It's not perfect, but receiving a code on your phone is a simple step that significantly boosts your security. And here's a fun fact. Two-factor authentication actually works. It's proven to be effective in preventing unauthorized access. So, overall, incorporating 2FA is a smart move, especially as we focus on strengthening our online security and protecting our digital lives. Let's talk about how emotions can really influence our decision-making, especially in cybersecurity. When we feel urgency, it often creates panic. We might rush into actions without thinking, which can lead to mistakes. Fear is another powerful emotion. Sometimes it overrides our logic, making us more susceptible to scams or phishing attempts. Curiosity, on the other hand, can lead us to overlook warning signs because we're eager to see or learn more. Here's a fun fact to keep in mind. Hackers actually exploit these emotions intentionally. They know that when we're emotional, whether we're panicked, scared, or curious, we're less likely to think clearly and more likely to fall for their traps. So, understanding this emotional dynamic is crucial in defending ourselves and recognizing potential threats. It ties back to our overall theme of staying vigilant and aware of how attackers manipulate our feelings to compromise security. Let's talk about some common vulnerabilities in our smart devices. First, many devices still come with default passwords that users often forget to change. This is a big risk because hackers can easily access these devices if they use those default credentials. Next, devices rarely receive updates or security patches. Without timely updates, they become more vulnerable to new threats. Additionally, our home networks are often exposed, especially if Wi-Fi passwords are weak or if the network isn't properly secured. This can give attackers an easy entry point into our connected world. And here's a fun fact. Smart devices are actually some of the weakest links in our security chain. Since they're often less protected, they can be exploited to access more sensitive information or to launch attacks. Overall, this highlights how crucial it is to be proactive about securing our smart devices and home networks. Data theft often goes unnoticed because attackers are quite clever at hiding their activity. They can stay in systems for a long time without raising any suspicion. This means that when breaches happen, they're often only discovered much later, sometimes after significant damage has already been done. It's like a silent intruder lurking in the background. And here's an interesting fact. Breaches are typically silent. They don't announce themselves loudly. Instead, they operate stealthily. This highlights the importance of having strong monitoring and detection measures in place. Throughout this presentation, we've emphasized how critical it is to be proactive in cybersecurity. Because if we're not vigilant, these breaches can go unnoticed for too long, causing serious harm. So, understanding that breaches are often silent underscores why constant vigilance and advanced security tools are essential. Let's talk about some simple habits that can really reduce our cybersecurity risks. Small changes, like using strong passwords or being cautious with emails, can make a big difference over time. Remember, awareness is more powerful than trying to manage everything with complex solutions. Being aware of potential threats helps us make smarter decisions in our daily routines. And the key takeaway here is that small steps, when consistently applied, can have a significant impact on our overall security. Now, here's a fun fact. Cybersecurity isn't just the IT team's job, it's everyone's job. Each of us has a role to play in keeping our information safe. When we all stay alert and follow good practices, we create a much stronger defense against cyber threats. So, whether you're at work or at home, staying aware and proactive is essential. Together, these habits and awareness help us build a safer digital environment for everyone. Let's take a moment to remember the importance of staying informed. Keeping up to date with the latest information helps us make smarter decisions and recognize potential risks early on. Staying cautious is equally vital. It means being aware of common pitfalls and not letting our guard down, especially when dealing with new or unfamiliar situations. And of course, staying protected is about taking practical steps to safeguard ourselves and our information from harm. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize that these principles, staying informed, cautious, and protected, are the foundation of maintaining security and confidence in our digital lives. This final message serves as a reminder that awareness and proactive behavior are key to staying safe in an ever-changing environment. Thank you for your attention, and I encourage you to carry these messages forward in your daily routines. And that wraps up our presentation. If you found this helpful, be sure to check out our YouTube channel at the link shown. It's a great resource for more in-depth IT content. If you enjoyed this, please give the video a like and share it with your family and friends so they can benefit too. And don't forget to subscribe to Real World IT for ongoing, practical IT knowledge that you can use in real life. Thanks for your time, and I look forward to connecting with you in future videos.